Welcome to the Nostalgic Multiverse. Hello everybody, Nostalgic here, and welcome to the 51st episode of Custom Spotlight. So for this Custom Spotlight, we are going to ask the age-old question. What was the engine that Sir Topham wanted? Sir Topham wanted an Atlantic, but that fucking son of a bitch sent him, how do I explain this? Well, now today, we'll be answering the question of what engine Sir Topham wanted, which was an Atlantic. So let's remove that and bring in the Atlantic. And here he is, the Atlantic. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Nostalgic, what on earth are you talking about? That is not an Atlantic. That isn't the Atlantic that Sir Topham described. He wanted a C1 Atlantic. Well, my dear fellow, I think you'll find that I took personal reference for this one. Alright? And if you don't like it, well, just click off the video. So, here we have Atlantic Henry. So, this Atlantic Henry was made with the inspiration of the fact that, well, Sir Topham wanted an Atlantic. And I thought, why not take inspiration from that picture I just showed and turn it into this type of Atlantic, making it seem as if it was a Black 5, but instead it would be another type of Atlantic. And you can even see here that Henry has his RWS or Ertl face. That's because I had a spare Ertl Henry face lying around, and I thought, why not use that for this custom? Be more original. And I also decided to give him this tender, which is a Fowler one. Unfortunately, I didn't have a Donald and Douglas tender, which wasn't in use, as the one that is, as one of the tenders that I currently have of Donald and Douglas is going to be used for a blue Donald custom. But we'll get to that when we get to that. And also, if I want, I can swap the tenders out on these two, so that when I want, for example, in Railway Legacy, if I don't want Henry to have his number 3 yet, then I'll make sure to do this. And if I want to make an alternate timeline video discussing an Atlantic Henry, I might as well use this tender. And there you have it. That's it. That's going to do it for Atlantic Henry, who is of an alternate timeline. But I'm not done yet. I might as well also show off something else I've worked on. Might I be presenting my personalized Edward? Now, what do I mean by my personalized Edward? This Edward was made with another Adventures Edward that I had bought from a car boot sale. He was a bit more sun-faded than the one I have here at home. And I decided to paint his footplate black and do something with his wheels so that he looks more like Edward. And as for the tender, this is a spare Take and Play 2010 Edward tender that I had in in my collection and in a parts bin. And I used some adventurous couplings, and now I have my own personalized Edward. See? And obviously I used paint pens to remove some of the dents that were there. And also for Henry, if you're wondering, I used a James tender for the Fowler tender and used a red paint pen to paint around this part here, the main part of the tender. And I also had to cut the boiler feed pipes from the sides in order to make Henry look a bit more like an Atlantic. So with that, everybody, thank you very much for watching this episode of Custom Spotlight. This is Alex signing off and reminding you all that nostalgia never dies.